Rowland, Marlvin.
Rowland is
with you. Okay. Good evening, managers.
Welcome to tonight's episode of the FPL Ambassador show. As usual, we have the usual culprits here. Bienvenue, Marlvin, Raymond, myself. So we together show started. Marlvin, how are you doing and how was your game week?
Doing well. Game week wise, terrible game week for me. Made the wrong decisions. Everything went against me. But that's FPL for me. So we move on as quickly as possible. One of the guys who brought in Bruno Fernandes and captained him, he gave me cool 6 points.
You fell for the scammer of the week.
Cool 6 points. So yeah, terrible. And Charlie, we have to move on quickly to the game weeks ahead.
Okay. Rowland, are your one network better now or still? Rowland, your network is a bit unstable.
The guy is still smiling.
He's still smiling. Okay, great. So as Marlvin said, there was United doubled, and we were expecting that they will be able to get, along with other teams, doubled. We were expecting that against Norway, we knew there were some goals going to be in there. So some of us went for Ronaldo, some went for Bruno, some decided not to buy any of them. And it was a very tough week, but we move on to game week 34. This is a very important week. The only two teams doubling in this game week are Chelsea and United. I want to have the way you see the way C was going Elanga and C were going to the street. I want to do one this week. That is what I've chosen this week. Yeah. I want a massive goal beat actually. I'll be so happy that I have to do that as well. So we continue with the key points for this week. Marvin, any key points you picked up from this week? Rowland, any key points you picked? Marvin,
key points.
Or any new thing? Just anything you picked up. Looks like the Chelsea.
Okay. So I think a lot of us have. I'm sure we're going to ask you. So we're going to talk about a lot about Chelsea and possibly Manchester United. I think one thing picked up is I think Rudiger is injured. James right now seems that he's been moved into a back three.
Yeah.
And of course that reduces his attacking threat. So I think a lot of us or maybe went for James, and he got a cool 0 for us yesterday. I don't know what Tuchel's plans are, but it seems as if he is now in the back three. As to whether he's going to swap with Aspilicueta or not, I'm not sure. Of course, I'm not Tuchel, so I just.
Marvin, I think Rowland has some much more information about that. Rowland, what's Tuchel's idea behind moving James to that point? Rowland.
Yes.
What's Tuchel's idea behind? Yes, I'm saying what's Tuchel's idea behind moving James to right centre back instead of him playing at right wing back? What do you think is the point behind it?
It's not a thought. It's his own words. He said that he feels playing right wing back is too demanding for James, and the number of injuries that he's had across the season. He feels that it is better for him to be stationed at the centre back position, which is the right centre back position, to allow him not exert himself too much in a manner that.
Continue, Rowland. My network is breaking. Oh, sorry, viewers. I think we have some challenges in Rowland's network today. So, Marvin, I think you figured out the point. So it means that managers across board in the FPL community should notice that James has been moved to the back three, as you have said. So it means his output is going down. So managers who might be expecting more from him, especially as has given us 0-0, he has given us 0-0-1. But in the past 3 games we bought him. So some of us are really sweating in that. So that's one thing.
James, take him out, then you score right now. But then the question is Tuchel going to keep him there? And even that, like the whole Chelsea team, because of the way their fixtures are, there's bound to be a lot of rotation. So right now, you don't even know, or you're a bit unsure on whom to trust, because anybody can play. It's the same way that Lukaku started against Arsenal and Havertz was on the bench. Of course, they have an FA Cup final coming as well. I think third spot pretty much is secure for them. So, of course, there's a lot of attention definitely going to be against Liverpool in the FA Cup. And they are bound to have a lot of rotation. So, Chelsea, I mean, we'll talk about them, but they're just a bit of a tricky side at the moment.
Tricky side as at now, sure. Yeah. So if you are investing, don't expect too much from them. But at least Mount and Havertz are go-to guys that managers can look over there. And I think another key point is Man City and their clean sheets. Man City and their clean sheets is always assured. So, Rowland, you move to your team so you can talk. I think the network is affecting you a bit. Rowland, any key points from your results last week? Yeah. What do you think you did well? What did you do well? What should we notice? Yes. Rowland, please speak.
Okay, I think the first mistake I own up to is the Salah error that I made. I think I brought out Salah, took that risk, instead brought in Ronaldo, and that's where my problem was for this week. Yes, it was great having Ronaldo, taking that risk on him, because looking at the Norwich game, you just felt that with the number of shots that he's had, the attempts that he's had on target, that should be an easy game for Ronaldo. I felt that that game would be a banana skin sort of game for Fernandes, and I was right because of the injury. So I take that one there. But the sad thing was to take out Salah. And I think for the past 3 or 4 game weeks, every player that I have brought out has bent me. So this week, I don't even know who to take out, because it's happened with Son, it's happened with Salah, it's happened with, I think, a couple more players. So it's here and there. But I think Vegas returned, Saka returned, Maddison, we just knew that there was rotation. Already he was in my team, so there was no need getting him out. I think Cancelo was a good decision, because if you brought in a Newcastle defender and you went on a free hit, would you really want your Newcastle defender moving forward? So I considered that and brought in Cancelo. James gave me a beautiful 0 because of he was playing right center back. All in all, it's okay. Kulusevski, I took the risk and benched him, and he was awful. He was even lacking the red card. So all in all, I think the Salah move is the only one that I regret making. But I think that
I'm sure you are bringing Salah in immediately.
This week.
I'm sure you are bringing Salah in immediately. And aside that, you have Weghorst and James.
Yeah, I'm still looking at it.
Must I bring him? Just now, so just like as Rowland did, I did a -8, but I felt
the most likely buy is Salah. Yeah.
Yes. So I felt that selling Salah was going to be very deadly for me. So I didn't sell Salah. I kept him and I kept Kane, and I did a -8. Brought in Schmeichel, Fernandes, and Maddison, and Captain Fernandes. You know what I did my calculation, and what I told myself was that if Fernandes does not score, at least if he doesn't do anything, I'll get 2 points from Norwich, 2 points from Liverpool. That is 4 points. As a captain, 8. At least I'll break even and balance the -8 at least from him on a pair. Actually, the guy didn't even give me 8 points as a captain. He gave me 6 points. Now one cut.
I knew that the Liverpool game, even before like the game week started, I knew the Liverpool game you get a look at. That one it was bound to happen. I had it at the back of my mind, and true to history, he delivered.
So I also had a red arrow. Marvin, you to your team, please talk about it, and let's move on. Why?
Charlie, not much to talk about. As I said, made a bad brought in Fernandes, captained him, got 6. I brought in Shah for, I've forgotten who the defender was. I think it was
Robo. Oh, you still have Robo? Okay.
I have Robo on the bench. I'm sure it was a 4.5.
Doherty.
Yeah, Doherty. So I think that was an okay move. So pretty much it's the Fernandes move that caused the whole whatever. I've gone down about 60,000 or something places.
Charlie.
Yeah, but anyway.
And officially, Rowland has bypassed you. awaiting Wegos and boys. Wegos James World Proud today against Broha Che Adams. This game is a very, very, very important match. Adams is not playing, Charlie.
Wegos has missed 2 chances, even 1 from 3 yards. What is this?
Who is missing those chances? Wegos there. Wegos boys. So our take for this week, Dubravka did the work over there. Sa Tellers also did the work. Son, Saka, Adams, and Rodriguez. They won't talk about them. Dewsbury Hall and Sterling too.
Rodriguez got an assist too.
Rodriguez. Oh, okay. For Benny, yeah. Okay.
He got an assist and he's playing. Hopefully that's something.
Fernandez. Who chose Fernandez? No. Who chose Fernandez? Fernandez and Madison. Oh,
all of them, didn't they get the same?
They got the same points. Same points.
Okay, great. Rowland, your key players for this week. Let's go.
So my pick for this week, looking at goalkeeper, I've gone for Sanchez. They are playing against Southampton. Southampton is blowing a bit hot and cold nowadays. You don't really know what to expect because they are not facing any relegation battle. Neither are they fighting for any European spots. So they are on the beach, as they put it nowadays. So
okay. Yeah,
I think that Sanchez.
They are on the beach, but they're on the beach, but they're beating Arsenal and then Tottenham. Let's not forget that. So that in on the beach theory, we have to change it to continue. Rowland, continue.
Yeah. So the defender, I've gone for Robertson. I think 10 games in. I mean, he's every for the past, I think 14 games, he's had 10 returns. So it's 11 games. I have to check that fact. I had it off. I don't know how I've managed to forget it, but he's had a return almost every game week for the past 14 game weeks. And then midfield, I've come back for Son. I mean, he wasn't that great against Brighton. But against Brentford like to attack a lot, and that is where Spurs is dangerous. They like to play the counter-attacking type of football. So with all those, their players, Moradin forward, I mean, it makes it easier for them to have the space. And Kane is not the pacey one, so definitely balls, played long would fall to the feet of Son. So I picked Son for the midfield battle. And then forward, I picked Pukki. Pukki loves a game against Newcastle. So I've gone for that purely on, vibes and his stats against them. I think 4 goals in 3 games against them.
Rowland.
So,
Rowland, sorry.
Let me finish. Then differential play, I've gone for Santos. Yeah. Go ahead.
Finish.
Okay. So differential player, I've gone for Sancho. Man United hasn't looked great. They won against Liverpool. I think he was the brightest spot. And with Ronaldo back in training, it won't be bad. I don't think it will be that difficult for him to get a return against this porous Arsenal defense. And the way Chelsea is looking, all concentration, I think fatigue has set in. The number of games that they've played, I think they played close to 60 games this season, and you can tell that it's taking a toll with their players injured and all of that. Then captain, I've gone for a Man City player. That's De Bruyne. I think that De Bruyne, it speaks for itself. They are playing Watford. Watford not in good shape. They'll come to defend, and that even makes it easier. So these are my 6 picks for the week, and hopefully this week I can do better than I've been doing for the past 2 or 3 or 4 game weeks. Any questions?
I was saying that Pukki, when you mentioned Pukki against Newcastle, my mind just went back to his hat-trick against Newcastle 2 seasons ago in this game week 2 when he hit and when he hit that hat-trick, he rose in price 3 times that week. That's the only time I've seen a player in FPL. Since I played FPL, right, 3 times in a game week, Charlie, he was just right. We were by him after. That's why we bought him. The next game, he gave us 1 goal. Then he gave some assist in another game. Then he scored his last goal against Man City. Then he vanished. Marvin, any comments about Rowland's players here?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Yeah.
So So what I also say that Robertson is somebody that is really, really good. We need to look at now. The way Trent is not producing the returns, if you are buying Robertson, it's saving you that 1 million extra that you can use at other points of the field. So managers who are trying to be a little bit how do you call it manageable can try and get Robo and then get that extra funds to use in other parts of their team. And as you said, Son Spurs guys need to do the job too, because last week, Charlie, they disappointed us, so they should do the job for us this week. So, Marvin, your players for this week.
Okay, for goalkeeper, I've gone for Edison. I think when you started, you said that Man City are just a clean sheet machine. Sure. So I've gone for Edison because I clearly don't see what Watford are going to do in that game, honestly. So I think that's a sure banker clean sheet for Manchester City. In defense, I've gone for James purely because, number one, he has a double game week. A lot of Rudiger is injured. You don't know whether maybe somebody like Silva is going to start. Sa, I mean, Alonso, but as I said, at the moment, Chelsea's players, a lot of them are all at risk of rotation. So I've gone for James basically because he has 2 games and he also has an upside because he's facing a West Ham side who I think are much more focused on their game against AS Roma. No, is it AS Roma? Sorry, Frankfurt. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Frankfurt at the moment because they are looking to go into Europa League final. And they're also facing United, who, of course, I'm sorry to say, are currently very rubbish. So I think there are 2 games that at least James can get something from. Midfield, I've gone for Saka basically because he's just playing against Manchester United as well. I think that's going to be an open game. 2 teams who, at the moment, they don't know their fronts from their back. And just all over the place. At least Arsenal got a result and United didn't. So I think both will come in with some form of motivation, one to do better. And
they are all fighting for top 4. It's more exactly. Like a 6-point
I don't see this as a 0-0 some kind of game. I think it's going to be an open game. And I think if, as we can see, Saka is pretty much the talisman for Arsenal at the moment. So that's why I've gone for him. And for the forward, I've gone for Watkins because, number one, Aston Villa, I don't know how long they've been resting for safe. They should have done all their tactics and things by now. And Leicester, even with Evans and all their defense coming back, they are still a little porous at the back. So that's why I've gone for Watkins. I see it as being a good game. And don't forget that Leicester also has an eye on their Europa Conference League against AS Roma. Exactly. So they'll also be rotating throughout, I'm sure, to the rest of the season. So that's why I've gone for Watkins. Differential player, I know everybody is healing the Kane, but Mane has been tipping along since, I think, after AFCON. And I think he's pretty much under the radar. He's just owned by 3.4% of
I checked it yesterday.
And I think it's crazy that he has such a low ownership. But as you realize, I read a quote somewhere about why Klopp doesn't rotate money and possibly sell a lot because, number one, because of their religion, they also don't take in a lot of alcohol. They don't take in alcohol at all. So their recovery and everything is very, very quick. So you see them hardly being rotated. So I think because don't forget that Liverpool are fighting on all fronts at the moment. I know they want to keep everybody fresh, but Premier League and Champions League are their priority. So I don't see them. They'll play. I mean, Klopp is the coach, but they'll play their players. They won't be resting people by hand. If you see any rotation to be maybe 2 or 3 players, that's how I see it. Captaincy, I've gone for Ronaldo. I mean, the Globe says sorry because of the loss of his son. It's rather unfortunate, and kudos to Anfield for what they did in the 7th minute for Ronaldo. I think putting the game aside, I think we realized that we are all human at the end of the day, and I think it was a great thing that Anfield did. Kudos to them. I've gone for Ronaldo because, number one, I think knowing him, Charlie, he will be ready to kick on from there. I think Rowland said he's in training. He's had an unfortunate quote-unquote rest. So I think he'll be ready to go for the next 2 games. Arsenal is a team that he can easily score against. Likewise, Chelsea, who at the moment they don't. I'm not sure what formation they are going to go for. So that's why I've gone for Ronaldo as captain because I think he plays the next 2 games. So those are my picks.
Those are your picks there. Okay, so key points I'll pick from there are money. Okay. So what I'll say is, as you said, money is a key differential. If it's possible for you to get a money Salah double up, you can do it. It's really going to give you a lot of points as well. I was actually thinking about doing a money Salah double up this year, but I realized that if I do it, it will affect other parts of my squad. And in fact, if you really are bold, you know what, Marvin, if Salah didn't score yesterday, I was actually going to move Salah and bring in Mane because now Mane is playing more centrally as more like the number 9 because Luis Diaz on the left and then Salah on the right. So it means that almost everything is passing through him. So relatively, and I was even telling Roland that if I sell Salah to buy Mane, what is actually going to happen is that I'm just saying that Salah is not going to do well till the season ends. And then if so, then it means that Mane is the guy I'm believing in. But if Salah holds anytime, it's going to affect my rank. But Roland said, no, not that way. I should rather see it more like Robo and Trent. You know how Robo and Trent are? Their points are always quite similar. So if I am buying a player, I should think about the player I'm buying. So managers who think that Mane is the go-to guy can go in for Mane and forget about Salah and his hitting your rank because they are all going to give similar points across from now to the season ends. So just look at it like having Son and you know how Son and Kane are also like now Mane is playing at that point. He's looking like that thing over there. So those who want to buy Mane can go for Mane. But somebody says now that Salah started scoring, it means the Salah goals are now going to come. So Charlie, as soon as Salah scores, essentially, I'm not going to buy that player there. Roland, any other points to make?
I see it as Mane's position has been tweaked. Now Mane plays more like a center forward.
Yeah.
So that is what has helped him more. When he played on the left side, it felt like he was being isolated and all the chances were falling to Salah. Now the chances are falling to both Mane and Salah. So it's given both of them an opportunity. And now you can tell that I don't know whether it's the AFCON or it's the World Cup qualifier, but Salah is beginning to pass to Mane more. I mean, just look at the second goal that was scored. That was ridiculous, a ridiculous pass for Mane. I mean, for you to be able to know that your player will be on that side of the field just with one touch, knowing that it's a give and go, then was just fantastic. So I'm looking at it from the angle that Mane is if he doesn't get more points than Salah, that's okay, but they will be a par. No, and that's how I see it. And I don't think rest will be an issue now. Once he's on form, he will not be benched.
Sure. And the key thing is if you are selling Salah for money, you are making a savings of about 1.6 million. So that is a key point that managers should note about that over there. So that's something managers should note over there. I want to talk about Oli Watkins, and I want us to talk about some questions from our viewers in the chat area. As you said, Marvin, the Villa guys are good. I think I'll talk about Villa later, so I think we can progress from there. There have been some 2 questions in here. From Emmanuel Edo. This is his question. He was asking about is the question showing? Yes. What do you think about Mateta of Crystal Palace? Marvin, what do you think about Mateta of Crystal Palace?
I think he's a decent pick. Honestly, the strikers this season so far is not as if, aside Kane, I don't know who is really doing an exceptional job. Of course, you can talk about the likes of Ronaldo, but if you want somebody who's consistent, even Kane has not been consistent, but he picked up since Conte came. So let's say since Conte came to now, Kane has been the one who has been consistent. Aside that, I don't know any strikers who are so good. So I think Mateta honestly is a decent pick. I think Crystal Palace, I'm sure, have a good run from now to the end
from now to the end of the season. Yeah.
So I think if you want to go for Mateta, I'm not against it at all.
And aside that, he's a budget player at 5.3 million. So as you said, the investment is now more in the middle. So if you want a budget player up front, especially if you are planning on even bench boosting in 36 and even somewhere in 37, Crystal Palace, I think Crystal Palace have a double. They have 36, 37, just like Aston Villa. He's a very good player that managers should look to over there. Another question in the chat area is about what about Luis Diaz? Roland, what do you say about Luis Diaz?
With Diaz, he's a rotation risk. I don't expect him to start this weekend. I expect Jota to come in for Diaz this weekend, where Diaz is rested for the game against Villarreal. So it's not a bad punt towards the end of the season anyway, but just like Man City players, it becomes a bit tough to decide or determine who plays. So at your own risk, but Diaz is an excellent pick. You know that once he plays, he'll give you the points that you need. So that's it. But it's just unfortunate. If we had Jota being laid off or we had Firmino being laid off, then you know that he's the shoo-in guy to go to. But as of now, we don't know about Jota. Jota is fit. Firmino is fit. So you can't really tell what the changes will be. So just be careful about it. You can pick him long term, but this weekend I doubt he will start. I think Jota will be the man to start.
Sure. So the key players. So as Marvin has made a point, I think Marvin or one of made a point that Salah and Mane are always playing. So the players that are being rotated now are Jota, Luis Diaz, and Firmino, based on the kind of game. So they are players you can look at, but the rotation is still against them. Somebody is saying that Robert Mensah in the chat here is saying, don't captain Ronaldo, he's mourning, and it will affect him mentally. So a word of caution over there. But I think aside that, we can. Okay. So aside that, we can move on. These are budget places spoken about for a while. So now, the landscape of FPL is changing. And there are some key things as managers we need to do. Now, you're left with just 5 weeks. So, Charlie, like, we never thought we would reach like 5 weeks. But Charlie, in fact, thumbs up to us. We have done what by God's grace, we have been able to reach this point. When we started this season, we didn't think we'll get to this point. So, managers who are watching, you can like our videos, subscribe as well. We are targeting to reach 1,000 subscribers. We are still at 224 for this season. So managers, please share it. Don't keep that pot to yourself. Let your friends also know that there's something good going on here as well. So that said, game week 34. What is happening at game week 34? In game week 34 like this, we are having Chelsea and United are doubling for this week. So Chelsea is playing West Ham and then Man U, and then Man U is playing Arsenal and Chelsea. This is the landscape from the remaining games that we have left. Now, some managers are planning to bench boost this week. So the plan is that they'll bench boost this week so that, not bench boost, sorry. They are planning on wild carding in 34. So that in 36, when we have so many teams doubling, we have about 11 teams doubling. So we have City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, Villa, Leicester, Everton, Palace, Norwich. All of these teams are doubling in 36. City's own is not confirmed yet. So the City vs Wolves game, we're expecting. Ben Crellin says that the confirmation might come between now and deadline on Saturday. So managers can hold on with their transfer to have that information to decide whatever your plan is. But that said, these are teams that are doubling in 36. So what managers can do now is, if you have your wild card and you haven't played your wild card, it's two things. Either you play this week in 34 or you play it in 35. You wait for the City information before you wild card. So you can bench boost in 36. So that is one thing. Now, the managers who don't have the wild card can still prepare their team towards the bench boost in 36. The good thing is that Chelsea is doubling in 34 here, and they are still doubling in 36. So those that Chelsea assets can keep them. That's the good thing. But United will not double. United will even blank somewhere in 37. So you can use your United assets to then move them to either City assets or Liverpool assets. Don't sell your Arsenal assets, please. Those who are planning on selling Arsenal are quite good. Especially as they'll face West Ham, who would be involved in some European commitments soon. And then they'll face Leeds as well. Against Tottenham, that is a North London derby. Anything can happen over there. And I know some managers are planning on selling their Spurs assets because Spurs will face Liverpool and Arsenal in that double game. But against Arsenal, the North London derby is going to be an open game. I don't know. I think even the Liverpool game is going to be an open game where is going to. But the point is, you can reinvest your money from Son and Kane in other players. Now, when it comes to Villa, you can look. Villa have a very good run. They are doubling in 36 and 37. So you can look at getting either Matty Cash, Coutinho, or Oli Watkins. These are players we've talked about for the long run. As for Leicester, we've spoken about them for quite a while. But the only challenge for Leicester is involved. They are involved in Europe, and then they will play Tottenham in 35, and then they'll have this. They have so many games. So, like as we are all realizing, Brendan Rodgers is making some rotations, but at least you can have one Leicester player, either Madison. I think Madison or Barnes, one of them, and then Everton. I think Everton, Richarlison is coming back. I think it's confirmed that Calvert-Lewin is injured now. So if Calvert-Lewin is injured, it means that Richarlison is going to be the focal point up front. So managers who are trying to maybe downgrade Kane can go to Richarlison and then use the money to upgrade their midfield. So managers can look at that option over there as well. And then in Palace, I know if I mentioned Zaha, Roland will beat me, but please, Zaha is an option. And then as you talked about Mateta, as was asked in the question. And then in Norwich, we have CMO Pukki. The Pukki party is back on. Norwich games they are playing Newcastle this week. They are playing Aston Villa, West Ham, and then Leicester. All these two teams will be involved in Europe. So by the time Pukki is playing, and then as you always see, every year the relegation battle gets interesting. Though Norwich might be officially relegated, they will want to go out fighting harder. As for Watford, Roland, Brad Dennis is getting back on form. You might not buy him this week 34, but you can buy him.
Isn't he being benched?
From 35.
So 35. You actually see being benched.
He started the last
one. But he started the most recent one. So the most recent one. So
and scored.
And then the good thing is he's playing, and scored as well. So the mojo is back. Yeah, I want to see Brad Ennis is back.
They played Brentford.
But seriously, yeah. Seriously. You know that this is going to be quite interesting. You know, once upon a time there was a talk about Analytic FC versus Grass FC. When managers had to choose between Josh King and then Emmanuel Dennis. And Emmanuel Dennis won. Somebody said, Charlie, since that debate, Josh King has had only one assist. All that time to now, Charlie. So, managers, these are the key points you need to note for the remaining weeks ahead of us. So, plan is, if you still have your bench boost, you can bench boost in 36 or start building a team towards bench boost in 36. But if you have your bench boost and free hits, you can bench boost in 36 and then free hit in 37. Yes. If you still have your wild card, you need to activate it now, either this week 34 or 35. These are the key things you need to know. If you have your triple captain, then triple captain will be best for 36 here or even 37. It depends on how things will go. As we said, the City game against Wolves is undecided. It might either be in game week 36 or 37, but we will get some information quite soon. As Ben Crellin has said, he said we might get it most likely before deadline this week. So now looking at that, some managers are planning on wildcarding. So I made a wildcard team to assist some managers who are planning on wildcarding. Now I have Schmeichel in pole, Ben Foster, because if you are wildcarding now, it means you are planning on bench boosting in 36. So I made sure to have a balance of teams that are bench doubling in 36. So I have Schmeichel and Foster. I have Cash, Diaz. So I have gone for Diaz instead of James, because I think that City's clean sheet is relatively better, and Cancelo. So I have a double City clean sheet there. I have Arnold there, and I have Ben Davies there. I have double Chelsea in Mount and Havertz, Maddison and Salah. Budget Gordon 4.6. Let's let Everton are playing 2 games there, and then Kane is surrounded by Mateta and then Pukki. Gentlemen, any comments about this wildcard team? Do you think there's something that I could have readjusted or managers should note when they are planning for a wildcard team in this game with 34?
Diaz, is he more nailed than Laporte?
Yes. So that is the point. But now Stones is injured, or Roland Stones is injured, right? Confirmed.
Yes, he is.
So if Stones is injured now, then It's a knock. So and Pep has been expecting Diaz to come in there. So I think it's to a safer way you can go Laporte. But then when Diaz comes back to full fitness, Diaz is the guy to go. So that's something that managers can look and notice over there. Good. Any other point?
I think letting go of Leicester assets is good. Irrespective of the doubles and whatever they have, I don't see, you get at most a game from them, and is it really worth it? Because
so Rowland, you keep Saka over Maddison, right?
I'll keep Saka over Maddison.
Okay.
I'll keep, and even looking at it, if I had my own way, I would rather get Coutinho safe, because Coutinho has a double, right? So it's something that you can look about. Leicester says from now to the end of the season, it's a no for me. I'm just thinking of letting go of Maddison, because with the games that they have coming up and where their priorities lie, there is no way he would be risked, because it's an opportunity for them to get to a final. So I don't think they'll be joking with this like that.
Okay. Marvin, any other points?
No, I think I'm.
This Mateta you guys are even going for. I don't get it too. Mateta.
No, okay. So let's explain. So, Roland, sorry. Mateta, the Palace game. Palace are an attacking side, and they score goals. If you check Mateta's last 6 games, he scored at least 2 goals. And for a budget player around that 5.2, 5.3, if you are getting a goal or 2 from him for about 2 or 3 games, it's manageable, because I don't think you get any player below 5.5 scoring some games there. And you know that you are trying to have a bench boosting, and a bench boosting, you need to have some budget players that help you upgrade other parts of your squad. So that is why Mateta is more of an option. Not that seems like he's the best player in the game, but he's somebody. It's an enabler that will give you some returns there.
So you feel that you play the double as well? You play all 4 games.
At least he can play 3 of the 4. And if he's playing 3 of the 4, let me show you the games that Palace have. The games Palace have, so Palace is not a double. They'll play Watford in 36, and then in 37 they'll play Aston Villa and then Everton. All of these games are games that goals are in. And even in 35, watch this. Even 34, he's playing Leeds, Southampton, Watford, Aston Villa, Everton, and even Man U. So the games are relatively good. At least some goals he might be involved in some goals here or there. So that is it. That is why we are looking at him as an option.
All right.
Marvin.
Personally, if I had money, I'll move to Watkins.
You move to Watkins, sure. So as we are saying, managers can do a double, as you are saying, a double Aston Villa. So you can have Matty Cash. At defense, and then as Roland says that he would either go for Coutinho here or Watkins here, but it demands that you have to cut some place of your squad. I mean, share the money at other points. My only challenge is Ben Davies. I don't trust Ben Davies for that. What do you call it? Spurs double. But at 4.4, I'm struggling to get any defender because my budget was only 4.4. So managers can get another player if they think they might. I don't know how the Wolves double will be, but if the Wolves double falls there, I think you can get a Wolves defender instead of Ben Davies over there. So that is something managers can note over there. We good to go?
Yep.
Great. So Roland, what are you doing this week?
Well, just before we go, Robert he's posted a question over 15 minutes ago asking us about Havertz.
Okay.
Well, what's our take on the Havertz Mount issue? I think we've not discussed it.
Sure. So the Havertz Mount issue, Havertz is now partnered by Werner up front. So what is okay? Favor, you're welcome. It's good to have you back. Now Havertz is partnered by Werner up front due to the formation change in Chelsea during the Southampton game. Now what is happening is that Havertz is still getting involved in some returns. I think, Roland, you've said that if James is playing this week, there will be some crosses for Havertz to get involved in the heading and stuff like that. So Havertz is a player just to watch. He's worth it at that point. Mount is also a player that is also very good. But the good thing about Mount is Mount is involved in some set pieces, so at least you have some access for Mount. And then the good thing is that when Havertz plays more like the false nine, even though Werner is much there, the chances he creates the opportunity, the spaces for Werner and then Mount to get more involved. So I think that if both of them are playing all the games, if Havertz and Mount are playing all the games, I'll go for Mount because Mount has more assist potential, and then he and Havertz, their goal threats are relatively similar over there. Marvin, I don't know what you say over there about Havertz and Mount.
I think it's so. I think one thing managers will definitely need to look at is minutes. As I keep on saying, I have a feeling. I do not have a feeling. I know for sure that from now to the end of the season, there's going to be a lot of rotation with Chelsea. Havertz did not start the Arsenal game,
sure.
So definitely he's going to start the weekend game, and I think he's going to start against the midweek game. So I think he's going to play both games. Not saying that Mount is not going to play, but with Havertz having a rest, I just feel like he's more likely to play both games. Not having said that, as you said, Mount is on set pieces, and with the change in formation, it's like he's playing right behind Timo Werner and Havertz as well. Pretty much like a number 10. And he's involved in a lot of the play as well. The only risk there is that he might be rotated. Bear in mind that they have a FA Cup final against Liverpool coming up. So I would like to bring Werner into the equation because I'm sure maybe might just want to pick 2 out of the 3 or want to go for 1. But I just feel like at least with those 3, definitely possibly go for one of them. And I think there will be, when the goals are, it's definitely going to be among those 3 that are going to be involved. So it's a difficult one to say, to have a cut as to which one.
To short Tombol.
Roland, your team. Tuchel is just doing some pep things. So
Roland, your team. What are you doing this week? Are you getting Salah back immediately?
Well, there are so many things I'm looking at because you also mentioned money, and if I can get that money cash and downgrade, because honestly speaking, I would love to keep Ronaldo, though the form is, Man U's form is not that great. These 2 games scream goals, and he looks like the only route to goals for Man United. So keeping him won't be that bad. But when I look at Kane having to lose Kane against Brentford, a team that will essentially attack, and be susceptible to counter-attacks, it's leaving a lot, for me to think about. But Salah would have been the first thought of my mind. But I have to also get in Mount. So these are the 2 players that I'm looking at getting. But I can't do that without being a -8. So now the choice: do I get Salah and Pookie for just a -4? Or yes, and I know I have Bowen in my team, and I've tried to get him out, but I'm looking at this defense. They are not looking so great, and with the number of games that they played, and with West Ham's rest this throughout the whole week, I'm figuring that they can, pull a price. I don't know. Is it being played at Stamford Bridge?
Let me check the game. The game will be played. The game is played at Stamford Bridge.
Okay, so it wouldn't surprise me if Bowen was to get a couple of returns because Rudiger is out, and once Rudiger is out of that Chelsea defense, they are in shambles. We saw it yesterday. Star cannot play. Christensen is looking to go to Barcelona. Thiago Silva is the only one that's fit, and can he manage it? It's either that or they go to a back 4. So that's why I'm feeling a bit somewhere about selling Bowen. So I'll look at it. But as for JWPD, what a useless guy. He's paid up. I'll try and get him out. That's just about it. Just looking at it.
Okay, great. Not bad. So I have made my move. I brought in Mount. I've taken a -4. I brought in Mount, and yesterday I was brooding whether to bring in Havertz or not. I wanted to bring in Havertz, but I felt that Roland, you made a point about Mahrez playing much of the remaining games for City anytime the season is about to end. So officially, I've brought in Mahrez ahead of Havertz. So I brought in Mario so that I have double City. I have double Chelsea, double Liverpool, one Arsenal, one Spurs, one Leicester, two double Leicester, and one. I am doing a my teacher points across board. So that is it. I am captain. I am Salah against Everton. I'm not too sure my captain Mount. I think Salah might do the job against Everton, but anything can happen going forward. Is it that Salah or Kane or Mount? But in the worst case scenario, I might go with Mount just to be safe as well. Roland, your team, what are you doing? The boys disappointed you. Marvin.
Very likely going to bring in a double game week player. I don't like United, so it's looking like I'm going to bring a City player, a Chelsea player, and I'm just not sure which way I'm going to go yet. So I think the players that we've spoken about, I think I'm definitely going to have one in there, and then that'll be about it.
So you're selling Fernandez just like that?
No, I'm bringing in a game. I have 2.6 in the bank.
So I know I'm asking. So are you selling Fernandez or you're keeping him?
Fernandez has a double game week, so I'm just bringing in for a single game week player. So I can sell somebody. I can sell Rafinha, can't I?
Rafinha
is 6.4.
Okay, you can sell Rafinha. Yes,
I can get to if I sell Rafinha, I can get to anybody. I can get to Mount. I can get to Havertz. If I sell Adams, I can get to Werner. I can also get. I'm also looking at Alonso actually.
Charlie, bring in Salah.
Master plan is who is Salah? Salah Nyobia, Master Salah Nyobia.
So Alonso. I'm also looking at Alonso. So I'm looking at these 4 Chelsea players. I'm definitely going to bring in one. I'm sure of that.
Charlie, good. So Alonso is somebody that's also looking at. I was torn between Alonso.
What about Salah? Are you not looking at Salah?
The guy says
I'm going to bring in a Chelsea player. What's your problem?
Double player. He says a double player. It's not by force to buy Salah. Massa, it's not by force, Massa, and yourself. Okay.
Come again.
Why are you asking me about Salah?
Don't mind him, Marvin. Don't mind Will.
I'm going to bring in Salah. Bring in Salah. Now I will be some Salah.
How about I can ask you anything on the show? So can't we ask that? But that's the same thing that Raymond was asking me. I'm bringing Salah immediately.
So as I said,
so that's what I'm asking. So you are not even considering Salah. That's what I'm asking.
My priority is to get in a double game week player. Okay. So I'm definitely bringing in the Chelsea game week player. That's
okay. So that's so the league table is still on. I hate the dictatorship is just leading by just 4 points in there. Alex and our guest expert is at 7th now. I think Arku is at 11. So we'll see who would win by then. Everybody should have subscribed long ago as well. Let's see who will win the league over there. I don't know whether Matthew GH will be able to. Matthew GH said he was going to win. I don't know when he will come out there. So Roland, funny enough, Marvin and myself have never come into the top 10.
I've been 10 before, please. I've been 10 before. Don't
hey,
do that.
So it is me. It is me.
I've been 10 before. I've just been 10.
Paper is asking about Raymond Nketsiah.
Yes, Raymond Nketsiah. Somebody.
What do we think about him? I think
he's not like I said, will come back.
Raymond, I mentioned this guy, I think somewhere last week.
Mm-hmm.
You remember I mentioned him somewhere last week, and we both said he wasn't even a no-go area. But I don't like Marvin is saying Lacazette will come back into this team. I don't see him, it's just one bad performance. So if he plays against United, he starts against United and doesn't play good. That's it for him. Back to his cameo appearances. But if he's able to manage a goal, knowing Arteta and how dubious he can be with some of his decision making, then it means that he can even decide to leave Lacazette on the bench. But it's there for the taking. So let's see. So long as he scored a brace, he will not be benched against United. But moving forward is what is most important.
It's a challenge. Okay, great. Key point made. So we've spoken about double game week 34, 37. So managers who are watching at this point can check the full video for that. Don't forget to like the video for us as well. So this week, the good week, the chip to use the wild card and then bench with the triple captain and all. Charlie, so both guys don't have more Salah, and some of you are planning on not buying Salah. So Salah is just deciding to misbehave some of us. So Salah is no longer called Premier Captain Mo Salah. But guys, who is the sure captain for this week? Who do you think is the sure captain for this week before we wrap up? Marvin. captain for
sure
this week?
captain generally or from our team?
Generally. I mean, generally.
Mo Salah is a sure captaincy. He's playing against
Okay.
Everton, Charlie. And Charlie,
Okay.
you know Everton is out of sorts.
Rowland.
I'll go
Ronaldo. Mind you, sweet. So,
but how about you, Ray? You two, who are you thinking for captaincy?
Either Salah or Son. Son might do the job. He might get annoyed and do the job this week.
I have Son on your team.
No, I don't. I have Kane.
How can we have that many?
One big can have Salah, can have Son, you have Manesh, you have Mount. I mean, what have you done to your team?
So, FPL Ambassadors is brought up by the team, Marlvin Owusu, myself, and Rowland Ekuban, and our Twitter handles are there. Join us, follow the discussion, like the channel, and all the best to managers. We'll meet, God willing, next week as well. Bye, Rowland. All the best to our managers. Bye.